you know how it feels to be without hope? No hope of ever becoming anything. No hope of ever being truly happy. Just going through life without any hope at all. Now, I don't believe that when this young man left his father's house, that he could ever imagine he would end up in a pig pen. And when I left the church, when I left the fellowship and the family of God, I never imagined that I would end up on drugs and in prison. I never thought the day would come when I would be lost and without hope. There were so many times that I asked myself, how did I mess my life up so badly? There were times that my mind would go back to the Rosa Sharon Missionary Baptist Church, where when I was 9 years old, sitting on the front pew with my grandmother, I thought about how happy I was when I was baptized and how proud I was when I stood at my post as a junior usher. I longed to be there again, listening to my first pastor, the Reverend James A. Murphy, preach about the prodigal son, Paul and Silas in the Philippian jail, and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace. I thought about how happy I was when at age 17, I stood in the pulpit of the Galatians Missionary Baptist Church on 15th Street and preached my trial sermon about Daniel in the lion's den. But what I remember most, my friends, was sitting in my car outside of a drug house in K-Town one night, waiting for Tadpole to come out with the heroin. I was listening to the radio and watching the building that he had gone into. You know, that's what you do. You gotta watch the person that's gone into the dope house. You gotta watch out for the stick-up man, and also watch out for Deacon Harris's police. And although I wasn't listening to a Christian station, a church song came on the radio, and I just happened to look in my side view mirror, and what I saw completely messed me up. I saw the St. James Church of God in Christ, where I had preached my last sermon about 20 years earlier. I just sat there, listening to that church song and looking at that church building where I had had so much fun praising the Lord and being with my Christian friends. I found myself crying and reminiscing and wishing I had never left the church. But it was too late. I had messed up too badly. I had nibbled myself completely away from God and into a world of hopelessness. I hated myself. I hated my life. I hated what I had become. I hated the drugs, the jails, and the drunkenness. But what I hated most of all was the hopelessness I felt. But I thank God for verse 17, when he came to himself. Oh yeah. When Bub finally came to himself, he said, how many of my father's hired servants have food enough to spare, and here I am starving to death? I will arise and go to my father and say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. In other words, what he said was, I ain't got to live like this. I'm getting up from here. I'm going back home where I belong, because I ain't got to live like this.
The Hoodlum Preacher, booking stores now.